1045 The Team, 1045theteam.com. On the phone right now, Murphy Smith, Shenandoah High School graduate, farmhand for the Toronto Blue Jays. Murphy, you've played 7 seasons already of professional baseball. You're signed with the Jays, headed to minor league camp March 5th, you report. Heading into your 8th professional season. Do you still love the grind?
Yeah, I mean, how can you not, you know? You get to play a game for a living, and, you know, it's definitely a grind, but there's still a lot of things that I would not rather be doing than playing baseball, so no, I'm still enjoying it.
Murphy, through those 7 seasons of pro ball already, you've been across organizations, you've been across levels. What is it that you're still working on?
You know, I think obviously I still haven't cracked into the big leagues, so that's you know, that's the goal number one, and I think to get there, basically, you know, the number one need is consistency, whether you're hitting, pitching, whatever. You know, you just have to be able to play the game at a high level consistently. So, you know, definitely, I would say that's probably the primary concern is just playing at my highest capabilities, but doing it on an everyday level.
How has your game continued to evolve throughout your time in pro ball? I think the last time I talked to you, you'd really developed a cutter, which is something you hadn't had when we last saw you back in the Capital Region. So how has your repertoire continued to expand?
Yeah, you know, it changes kind of year to year. Last year, I kind of more or less turned the cutter into a slider, and at one point was throwing, you know, fastball, changeup, curveball, slider, and then kind of towards the end of the year was more focusing on just fastball, slider, changeup. So, you know, I've learned many different grips and different pitches. So, you know, I kind of tinker and tailor as we get ready for spring training and you know, figure out which ones are going to be best suited for me going forward.
So you report to minor league camp on March 5th. Obviously, major league pitchers and catchers report within the next week. The Blue Jays are another hot pick to win the AL East and maybe even get to the World Series out of the AL. What was it about Toronto that made you want to sign with them after you left Oakland's organization?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I didn't have a ton of opportunities, you know, after I'd been released by the Oakland A's organization. So, you know, I had a really good experience with the Blue Jays last year. You know, I felt as though I was valued there, and really got along well with all the player development guys, you know, the coaches at the levels that I played at. You know, enjoyed my time there, and it just seemed like a good fit overall, you know.
Murphy, when you left the A's, you were bouncing between being a starter and being a reliever. Last year with the Jays organization, you got an opportunity to start. Did you enjoy that opportunity? And what is the plan for you this year moving forward?
Yeah, last year when they had signed me, they wanted me to be a starter. They had an opening there, so I got the opportunity to start all year and threw pretty well and felt real good. And, you know, ironically, they actually, as of right now, are kind of interested in me as a reliever, similar to how the A's were, kind of saw that being a better path to get to the major leagues. So, you know, whatever the role, you know, I'm happy to fulfill it, and just wherever the best opportunity lays, that's the role I'll go with.
Was it weird for you last year? You were in Dunedin in high A ball, and you got to play with Jeff Hoffman, who's a Shaker High School kid who's only like 22 years old. He was a first-round pick, 9th overall a few years ago. You got a chance to play with him. Was that weird for you playing with another Capital Region guy who was a couple years younger?
Oh yeah, no, it was definitely bizarre. You know, I hadn't got the chance to play with a lot of guys at the professional level from the area. You know, but it was fun just to kind of catch up and see how things have evolved and kind of changed in the Capital District. And I know there was another first rounder out of Niskayuna. I think Whitley, I think was the last name, if I'm correct. And so, you know, obviously, you know, there's more exposure to the area now, which is great to see. And no, it was fun just to you know, just to see a talent like Jeff pitch, but also you know, just to talk about the good old days back in the Capital District.
Jeff is a guy who was traded from the Blue Jays to the Rockies as part of the big Jose Reyes, Troy Tulowitzki deal, but you got a chance to see him on the field. What's his potential like, you think? Is he going to be a guy who we're going to see be a frontline ace in the majors?
Yeah, I mean, I think the sky's the limit for a guy like Jeff. You know, he's a big guy. He's a power arm, throws hard, has real good command and a pretty high baseball IQ. So, you know, as long as he can continue to stay healthy, you know, I don't see a reason why him being a frontline guy is, you know, that's definitely in the realm of possibility for sure.
Murphy, you mentioned You mentioned Jeff. You mentioned Garrett Whitley, who was taken in the first round, number 13 overall last year by Tampa. We've also got Jamie Schultz from Maple Hill, who's probably going to get to the majors, if not this year, next year with Tampa. And there's a slew of other Capital Region guys who are knocking on the door of Double-A and eventually up to the major. So how cool is it for you to kind of be one of those first guys to blaze the trail, you and a guy like Tommy Canley?
Yeah, no, it's it's an honor to be a part of that. And I mean, I've said that from day one that baseball in the Capital District was, is always played at a high level, and it's just good to see that exposure's finally kind of getting out there, and a lot of more guys are getting more opportunities now.
Murphy Smith, Shenendehowa graduate, Toronto Blue Jays farmhand, getting ready for spring training. March 5th, he reports he'll be back in Dunedin, and Murphy, hopefully we'll see you in the majors with Toronto real soon.
Yeah, thanks, Brady. Appreciate it.